All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is Monday, March 27th. We got another chart talk coming at you. We got, constantly we're dealing with this choppy market. One day we're up 2%, next day we're down 2%, but really we've stayed in the same range for 4 or 5 months. There's people making cases out there that stocks technically did bottom last June with the CPI when the CPI topped at 9.1%. And it makes for a very interesting trading environment. So without further ado, let's get into the market outlook, huh? All right, let me share my screen here. All right, we got the SPY up on the board.
Yeah.
So, I mean, broadly, don't mind these lines. I was just looking at this little uptrend here. We've just been chopping. We've been in this absolute chop fest, and it seems like, every time we tick to the top end of the range, bulls come out and will say, SPY to 450. We get to the bottom of the range, and the bears come out and say, SPY to 350. And we just kind of stay in the same range. I'm anticipating at some point, I think we have some capitulation in the market. Once this 380 breaks to the downside, it'll get a nice sell. Maybe we create new lows, and then that'll be the end of the bear market. I think it's just too easy for us to go sideways and just be out of this thing for the bear market. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting too ahead of myself and thinking like, bear market, bull market, we need to take this thing just kind of 1 week at a time. Mm-hmm. And in my view, it's like the only thing to expect right now is chop and just to kind of know where the strength lies. I had a big little spiel on the newsletter this weekend about how you kind of have to expect the chop and not expect follow through as much. So it's like in weeks past, and the Qs are a perfect example of this today, mm-hmm. where, all last week, and we would see strength in Apple, Google, Microsoft, the super big tech names. Coming into this week, if I wasn't expecting chop as much, I would have said on the newsletter, expect the QQQ to continue to be relatively strong. I didn't say that. I said the opposite. I said, look for money to come out of the QQQ and look for it to go into consumer staples. Mm-hmm. And this is a trade I think is just beginning to take legs. I think these names will trend for the next few months. And why do I like the consumer staple stocks? It's like the end of bear markets. Generally, these stocks do very well. And why? Because they're low growth stocks. They don't have the same currency risk. They don't have these huge growth rates. They got higher dividends. So think of things like, Walmart. I made McDonald's the trade of the week this week. What are some others? Monster, MNST, just, very consistent revenue. Coke, Pepsi, look, Coke's very strong today. Pepsi closed higher today. Strong last few days. So those are the names I'm expecting to gain, and I'm expecting these NASDAQ names to cool off really hard. I expect they'll just continue to be range bound, and I don't really see much happening besides range bound action unless we get a big sell-off. Rates are, because we had the bank scare, rates, you can't really tell much from rates. Rates go up. It's not like the market's going down. Rates go down. It's not like the market's going up. So, that indicator is kind of lost on me. I'm not really seeing much within the 10-year. So I think, it's just kind of time to expect chop. That's really, really it. Take your singles, take your doubles. And that's kind of what I'm seeing, What are your thoughts out here?
I mean, definitely a lot of what you said, definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing.
Oh. I'm going to start pulling up these newsletters while we're talking about this stuff.
Oh, funny.
Let me see.
Yeah, I stopped the share. You can share.
All right. Definitely agree with a lot of what you were saying. I mentioned, and I'll do it for next week, we talk about like the 10-year, where even with mortgage rates, there's been like this kind of disparity with the rates.
I didn't even know you could type that. What do you type? Mortgage?
I put in, what did I find? So this is mortgage 30 US pulls up the average 30-year in the US. I try to do like an overlay with the 10-year, but like it just gets like really, let me see if I can do it really quick. It gets like a little wonky. Hold on. For some reason, like it just locks I can't really like move the percentages. But what was interesting to see was like how the 10 years has pulled back dramatically off highs, percentage wise, where the 10-year or the mortgage rates really haven't done much. I'm gonna get rid of this overlay because it just doesn't do any service. But it's been interesting to see like the mortgage rates have kind of lagged overall with the 10-year, where 10 years 30% off its recent highs. Mortgage rates are, less than 0.5% off its highs. You would expect to see rates under 6 given the move the 10 years had. We're just not seeing that. So, but when I was overlaying this past weekend, it just seemed like mortgage rates lagged the 10-year by a few months, where like it eventually plays catch up, but not as aggressively and not as quickly as the 10-year has been. The 10-year has been basically trading like a high beta stock. We just see this very clear kind of megaphone pattern forming. And eventually, when this is just kind of a bigger bear flag within this megaphone pattern, but eventually you tend to see some type of push in either direction. And this, given how it's been trading, I still think we still see like the low 3s by end of year, and that should help kind of bring down mortgage rates. But it's just been much slower of a drop since we've had a dramatic drop and nothing's happened. But I'm definitely with you with the staples and that narrative. Even like the telecoms, stocks we haven't looked at in forever, but it's still basing very strongly, surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably put that in the same basket as those staples in terms of what's attractive about the sector, where it's just consistent revenues, low growth rates, and such.
Yeah. And definitely with you on, again, that range, the range you drew is basically the same one I had. We've had this 420 resistance for, more than a year now. Short term kind of 380 has been kind of the recent little pivot low, but I'm with you as well. I do think we could very easily kind of shake out that low, and that's what will be needed for that eventual, push back up through 420 with some real power. We see it even individual stocks. It's like this chart could look so perfect, but then it needs that real shakeout, and it often happens very quickly before you get that real move. And that, that's kind of what would be needed, would be like a push through here, through that 340 low, you get that shakeout move, and then eventually you get that push higher. And I think we do see higher prices in time, because a lot of the major names we're looking at, the bases that have been forming for 6 months or a year at this point, and we're not seeing these bases and then pushing lower. You're not seeing the Amazons, base down here and push down to $50 or $60. You're not seeing that with a lot of names. It's hard to really find any like major name that's based since last year and is still lower. If type like 9 out of 10 names are going to be somewhat pushing higher. So I think we see higher prices in the long term, but in the short term, like you said, it's kind of week by week, taking those singles and doubles and not really trying to go for any home runs right now. Just while I have this up, I'll go over a couple of quick top ideas. Again, you and I for months now have been talking about this monster. They are splitting the stock tomorrow, so 2 for 1. So don't be alarmed if you see it down 50%. It's just them splitting the shares. But then after tomorrow, it'll go back.
I gotta ask you. Zoom into the chart a little bit. Zoom in. This is the tricky part about these names. It's like, all right, that 105 looks nice. Are you really giving that to 102? Are you giving that 3 days of range? Because that's the last 3 days of range.
I think
so realistically, are you buying 105 with a 102 stop?
So tomorrow it's going to be 2 to 1, so it'll be 50 to 50.
Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
Let's say it's 105 tomorrow.
If it goes tomorrow, I think you kind of have to. I get 2 things. You either give it to 102, or you can give it versus low a day if you're really expecting like that momentum breakout.
How can but look at that chart. How can you expect a momentum breakout? Like look at that chart. What would about the price action would like hint off that once that 105 breaks, it's a momentum breakout?
I mean, I personally don't, given just tomorrow's gonna be a split. I think most average investors are going to see monster down 50%, and that initial thought is just going to be fear. So I wouldn't expect it to go tomorrow. I think that this thing needs to split tomorrow. It needs to have the day or two for everyone to realize it's just a split, and then take the level when it's going to go. For now, I would just have the stop versus 102 and see how the price action is. Like that would be my thought for when this is going to go.
I like the stock. I like sort of the setup, but I like the stock. I don't like the setup because I don't want to give it 3 days of range for risk, knowing, with this choppy market, how can I expect it to, make me multiples of the risk reward?
Yeah.
You need six up days to go 2 to 1 on that. And that with that theory, it's like, who knows where the S&P will be in 6 days.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we shake that 102 out just given the split. If it wasn't splitting tomorrow, I wouldn't think that, but given the fact that it's going to split, I think that you'll have that. Even like, I can't compare this to like Tesla or Apple when they had those bigger splits, but those were dramatic moves.
Yeah.
Post split, but those also had dramatic up moves into the split. Like they both timed those splits to the to the T.
This is very, I mean, that's a very
But
different.
it's way, yeah, it's hard to give that example because those both.
I don't think this monster split means anything for the stock. I don't think it affects it in any way, shape, or form. It's because monster.com, it's been between 90 and 100 for a half a year. It's between 80 and 100 for 4 years, whatever it is. So it's like, it's not like the retail trading crazy stock that Tesla was that's going to be so emotionally reacted by humans. And I mean, this is all anticipation on my end.
Yeah.
So like, I'll see how it sets up tomorrow. But because the out is 102, like it doesn't make any sense to buy 105 with like a stop at today's low, right? Because we see how choppy the stock is, and the probability of that trade working out just isn't there. Especially given this heightened choppy environment, it makes that trade probability what, like 10%, So it's like, yeah, it's just tricky. It's you really gotta know what stocks you like, know what levels you like them at, because you can't really keep things wide. That's just like a fool's errand in this market. I don't know. This is what I've been, contemplating myself in a lot of these names, and kind of like keeping my foot off the gas, almost like what's the opposite of trigger happy? Trigger sad.
Trigger shock.
But it's like, because in a market of 2 years ago or 3 years ago, buying that 105 with a stop at 104, whatever it is, that low, you could get lucky and catch that breakout. But here it's like you shouldn't even look at that setup to me, because it's like just the probability is just not there.
Yeah. A couple others. We got this UPS, because again, this has been basing for quite a bit in this 190 area. We've seen a lot of these higher pivot lows, so keeping an eye on this. Earnings
I like that.
aren't until we got more than a month, so plenty of time here. We have this EXAS forming a nice little bull flag here. Probably still needs a little bit more time to develop, but just back to this level. And then we got this TYL. And we see this base forming, 350, 333, 335. Kind of keep an eye on this. And this MSI, I think triggered today. This kind of goes along to your kind of like your monster point where
I was looking at the stock today, and I was like, I'm not going to buy this shit. What am I going to give this 5%? And pray to God the market goes up 5% in that time. It's like, that's what makes these things so they're like, they look good technically.
You're just not getting the follow through.
You're not getting the follow through. So it's
slim pick. I mean, on my end, this is since even before the trip that I went out to see you.
See the kids.
You really took that to heart.
I didn't get a slide.
We had not one good picture, or you just didn't send me anything.
For those listening at home, Bannon comes to visit me out in California. We have this amazing weekend at Tahoe, and he posts a picture on Instagram. Him and his cousins, just 4 pictures of the little babies saying, I only came out to California to see the kiddos, and I was taking them back there. What is a 7-year, 8-year partnership? I guess nothing. Go on, tell me about it.
The only pictures we had beers in our hand, and I'll never post a picture with a beer. So those unfortunately couldn't make it. But if you have any that we're not holding beers, you show it to me, and I'll put it up. I'll be just.
Of course, I don't.
Okay. How was your 75 hard, by the way?
It was great. Now you're witnessing 75 soft.
All right. Okay. So those are those top ideas. I really have no good trades to talk about. I got it here again. Take the money challenge. This is where a month and a week in. So far, I'm up a whopping 48 cents. We've been again funding $100 a week. So we started this 5 weeks ago. Let's see, up again 0.5%, or I guess 1% technically. I'm not really sure, but just have some QSR, have some Snapchat. It's up 10% so far. Shakeways bust my balls. I bought some penny stock.
No, it's not some penny.
It was oh my gosh, well, you told me even now.
Talk about Silvergate Bank, the crypto bank of all the crypto banks. They had to get bailed out by MicroStrategy, which is Michael Saylor's Bitcoin. Like, used to be a tech company, not to fuck. I don't know.
So,
but for you to be buying Silvergate, it's like
it's hilarious. Yeah, it's So good thing I only lost 5% on that.
How do you know shit's not working? Bennett's buying Silvergate.
Yeah, so that was again good lesson on mine of why we focus on just buying real names and not these bullshit ass names. So just holding this QSR, holding the Snapchat. We'll probably rotate this money out after this monster splits. I'll probably look to take that breakout with the $500 or whatever, 8 or 9 shares I could buy with that. I think right now Alex is in the lead. I think he's up like up like $20, $30.
Damn.
So he's the leader right now. He's the one most likely to take your and my $500 at this point. Should he get it to 5,000, but still got some time. So what about you, Shake? What do you got going on?
You wanna
Yeah.
let me share it again? So I'm looking at names, I'm definitely recognizing the strength in things like this Walmart. I'm gonna keep mentioning these things. I like that McDonald's. I should have bought it today. Should have, would have, could have. I missed the entry off the open this morning. I think that one looks good. Me and Heaven were talking towards the close today. HD looks great for a short. I was reading over the weekend how um, people's spending on home improvements has pretty much gone down the drain in the last few months, as kind of like bear market.
Uh-oh.
Hear me?
There we go. Hold on.
You hear me?
Yeah, you're good now.
Oh man, I heard my internet go down sound. Oh no, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, phew, phew, phew. All right. So I was reading over the weekend how people spending on their home improvements obviously skyrocketed during COVID. It's completely gone down the drain since then. So I think this HD is setting up is a really nice short below his 280 against his 285. That's one we haven't talked about really. And another one is Airbnb. That can you hear me? Okay. Um, this one, nice gap up on earnings, but the drift has been down and now it's kind of holding on to this 50-day for dear life here. A little inside day after some selling. So if we see some selling there, I'll get short these, 117, 115 area that low. So I like that one a lot. And I think that's, another one that's in trouble, anecdotally, Airbnb. So that's really it. Try to keep the trades to a minimum, really thought out. And entries are really, really important right now. Like as we were saying, Monster looks good, but at the same time, it doesn't look great because you're just kind of almost late to the move on a day-to-day basis. If you want to buy 105, give it to 102, it's find it tough to make money in this market. If in a trending market, that's a great move. But in this market, that's kind of a tough move. So, keeping it slim, waiting for really, really good setups. No rush on trades right now. Just no absolute rush. This is nothing like you need to be in or just trades that need to be happening. Definitely not that environment. We'll have that environment back. I anticipate more towards the end of the year. But as for now, it's protect.
I got one last little thing. You can let me share the screen really quick.
Share away, my friend. Hold on.
So just a couple little updates. We finally got book 8 taking profits published today. If anyone wants to pick up the softcover, hardcover, Kindle, any of those, again, as always, you just leave us a review and we'll add that cost back to membership for free. So, and it goes with all the books. I definitely have to say thank you to everyone. We've been getting a ton of reviews from these books. So we definitely appreciate that. So again, book 8 is out. Hopefully by summertime, we'll have the entire series. And then by end of summer, the Banned from Wall Street book should hopefully be done once me and Chick are done editing it. And the only other thing is we do have the new Commodore shirts coming out for the springtime, black, the blue, and the cream shirt. We're taking pre-orders for those now. So if anyone wants to get one or all three, just shoot me or Shake or Heaven a DM of your shirt size and we'll get you on the list. For anyone who orders all three shirts, it's only like $50, and we're going to include in 3 little surprise new gifts that we have coming out. So those will be coming out pretty soon. So just little new updates of what's going on. So that's all I got, Shake. Other than that, I think we're
love it. All right.
Good to go.
Good to go. Catch you guys next week.